In the darkness beneath the Egyptian desert, ancient secrets lay buried for over 3,000 years. Secrets protected by something far more powerful than stone and seal, a warning that would soon prove deadly. But on one fateful day in 1922, someone dared to break that seal.
November 26, 1922. The Valley of the Kings, Egypt.
For 6 long years, British archaeologist Howard Carter had been searching for the one tomb that had escaped grave robbers for millennia. The tomb of the boy king Tutankhamun. But after 6 years of failure, his funding was running out. His reputation was crumbling, and his sponsor, Lord Carnarvon, had lost patience. Every dig had turned up nothing but sand, rock, and disappointment. Carnarvon gave Carter one final chance, one more season. After that, the excavation would end forever. Neither man knew they were standing just feet away from the greatest archaeological discovery in history. The weeks passed. October turned to November, and then on November 4th, 1922, a young Egyptian water boy was walking across the dig site. His foot caught on something buried in the sand, and when he looked down, he saw it. A stone step carved into the bedrock. The jug slipped from his hands. Water splashed across the ancient stone, and the boy knew he had found something impossible. He ran to Carter, shouting in Arabic. Carter heard the commotion and rushed outside. The boy was pointing, trembling with excitement. Carter sprinted across the sand, his heart pounding. He dropped to his knees and began clearing the sand with his bare hands. One step, then another, a stairway descending into the earth. The workers gathered around, speaking in hushed, reverent tones. Carter's hands were shaking. Tears streaked down his dust-covered face. After 6 years of searching, he had finally found it. He immediately sent a telegram to Lord Carnarvon in England. At last have made wonderful discovery in valley. Magnificent tomb with seals intact. Await your arrival. The message traveled across continents, across oceans. In his manor in England, Lord Carnarvon read the telegram, his hands trembling. He grabbed the telephone. Get me a ship to Egypt, immediately. 3 weeks later, on November 23rd, Carnarvon's ship docked in Alexandria. He traveled by luxury automobile through the scorching Egyptian desert. Both men were about to witness something that hadn't been seen in over 3,000 years. But they were also about to unleash something that would kill 22 people in the most mysterious ways imaginable. Carter and Carnarvon stood at the top of the excavated stairway. 16 steps descended into absolute darkness. Carter lit a torch. The flame flickered in the desert wind. They began their descent, with workers following behind, carrying torches and equipment. The air grew colder with each step down. The walls pressed in around them, and at the bottom, they saw it, a sealed doorway, covered in hieroglyphics and ancient clay seals. Carter moved closer, holding his torch up to examine the seals, and there, pressed into the clay, was the royal cartouche, the seal of Tutankhamun. Everyone froze. The tomb was intact, untouched. After 3,300 years, they were the first to stand before this door. Carter's hand reached toward the seal. Dust fell away at his touch. He picked up a hammer and chisel from his tool bag. The metal felt heavy in his hands. He positioned the chisel against the ancient seal, and then he struck. The seal cracked like lightning. Pieces fell to the ground. He struck again and again. The seal shattered completely, and from the darkness beyond, a rush of air exploded outward. Ancient air, sealed for thousands of years, blasted past them. Papers flew. Torches guttered. Everyone staggered backward, shielding their faces. The dust slowly settled, and through the broken doorway, they saw a gleam, a golden gleam in the darkness. Carter stepped forward, his hands trembling. He made a small hole in the remaining door and held his candle up to peer through. Carnarvon stood behind him, barely able to contain himself. "Can you see anything?" Carter's eye widened as the candlelight revealed what lay beyond. His voice was breathless, barely a whisper. "Yes, wonderful things." Tears streamed down Carter's face as golden light flooded through the hole. They carefully dismantled the rest of the doorway. Carter entered first, his torch held high, and what he saw took his breath away. A golden throne, 3 gilded couches shaped like lions and cows, chariots stacked against the walls, jewelry boxes overflowing with gold and precious stones. The entire chamber packed floor to ceiling with treasures. Carter moved through the antechamber like a man in a dream. golden cobra staffs, alabaster vases, painted chests covered in hieroglyphics, lapis lazuli scarabs that gleamed in the torchlight. He picked up a golden statue, and dust fell away like ancient snow. "Untouched," he whispered. "For 3,000 years, untouched." And then he saw it. On the far wall, another sealed doorway, guarded by two life-size statues. Their eyes seemed to watch, to warn. "There's another chamber," Carter said quietly. The burial chamber, where the king himself lay sleeping. 3 months later, in February 1923, they were finally ready to open the inner chamber. Workers carefully broke the seal, and beyond the doorway they saw not a wall, but a golden shrine. A shrine so massive it filled the entire chamber from floor to ceiling. It's solid gold, Carter breathed. He opened the shrine doors. Inside was another golden shrine, and inside that a third shrine, and inside that a fourth and final shrine. The Egyptians had built shrine within shrine within shrine, like a Russian doll, to protect their king. When the fourth shrine was finally opened, they found a stone sarcophagus. It took 10 men straining with ropes to lift the massive stone lid. Inside, a golden coffin shaped like a human body. They opened it. Inside was another golden coffin. They opened that. Inside was a third coffin made of solid gold, weighing over 200 pounds. Carter's hands trembled as he lifted the final lid, and there, after 3,300 years of darkness, they saw him. Tutankhamun, the boy king. A golden death mask covered his face. His eyes seemed to stare back at them from across the millennia. Carter and Carnarvon stood over the mummy in absolute silence. "We've done it, Carter," Carnarvon whispered. "We've found the boy king." The torches flickered. For a moment, one nearly went out. Everyone froze. A whisper seemed to echo through the chamber, but when they turned, there was no one there. They had disturbed something that had been sleeping, something that was about to wake up. News of the discovery spread like wildfire across the globe. "Greatest discovery in archaeological history," the newspaper screamed. "Treasures beyond imagination found." Photographs of Carter and Carnarvon appeared in every paper. Both men stood at the tomb entrance, smiling, triumphant. Crowds of journalists and tourists flooded the Valley of the Kings. Everyone wanted to see the tomb. Everyone wanted to witness history, but then something changed. March 1923. Lord Carnarvon was in his tent when he felt it. A mosquito bite on his left cheek. Small, insignificant. He barely noticed it. The next morning, while shaving with his straight razor, the blade slipped. It cut directly across the mosquito bite. Blood welled up. Carnarvon stared at the cut in the mirror, and for the first time he felt afraid. By the next day, he had a fever. The mosquito bite became infected. Angry red streaks spread across his face. "Get him to Cairo," the doctors shouted. Immediately, they rushed him to the Continental Hotel in Cairo. Multiple doctors attended him, but the infection was spreading. Blood poisoning racing through his body. His son, Lord Porchester, rushed to his bedside. April 5th, 1923, 1:55 in the morning. Carnarvon's hand grew weak in his son's grip. His breathing slowed. His eyes, once so full of triumph, stared at nothing. And then he took one final breath and was gone. At that exact moment, every single light in Cairo went out. The entire city plunged into complete darkness. Thousands of people stumbled in the streets, confused, terrified. Dogs howled in the blackness. Engineers rushed to the power station, but they found nothing wrong. No explanation, no technical fault. The power simply stopped.
And at that same moment, 2,200 miles away in England, Lord Carnarvon's dog began to howl. Servants rushed into the room. The dog was staring at the ceiling, howling as if in agony, and then it collapsed, dead. The servants checked the clock. 1:55 a.m., the exact same moment Carnarvon had died in Cairo. The newspapers reported it all. Lord Carnarvon dead, mysterious fever. But this was only the beginning. Carter was examining Tutankhamun's unwrapped mummy when he noticed something. He froze. His blood ran cold. On the mummy's left cheek, there was a lesion, a mark in the exact same spot as Carnarvon's mosquito bite, the exact same spot. And then the deaths began. Death number 1, Lord Carnarvon, infected mosquito bite. George J. Gould, American financier, He visited the tomb as a tourist. 24 hours later, he collapsed in his hotel room with a sudden fever, dead within a day. Death number 2. Prince Ali Kamel Fahmy Bey, Egyptian royalty. He examined artifacts from the tomb. 2 weeks later, shot dead in London's Savoy Hotel under mysterious circumstances. Death number 3. Colonel Aubrey Herbert, Carnarvon's half-brother. He visited Carnarvon's grave to lay flowers. 5 months later, blood poisoning, dead. Death number 4. Wolf Joel, South African millionaire, visited the tomb, died of pneumonia. Death number 5. Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, X-rayed the mummy, collapsed from unknown illness. Death number 6. Sir Lee Stack, Governor General of Sudan, assassinated in Cairo's streets. Death number 7. Arthur Mace, Carter's right-hand man. He worked directly in the tomb, cataloging artifacts. He suddenly began vomiting blood. Arsenic poisoning, the doctor said. But how? Where did it come from? He died in 1928. Death number 8. Richard Bethel, Carter's personal secretary, found dead in his bed. No marks, no explanation, just dead. Death number 9. And then Lord Westbury, Bethel's father. When Westbury heard of his son's mysterious death, he was reading the newspaper in his apartment. He stood, walked to his 7th-floor window, and looked down at the street below. He wrote a note, just one sentence. "I cannot stand the curse any longer." And then he jumped. They found his body on the street, the suicide note on his table. Those words, the curse. Death number 10. 5 Egyptian workers. All 5 died within 2 years of entering the tomb. Different causes, different circumstances, but all connected to one thing, Tutankhamun's tomb. Deaths 11 through 15. More deaths followed. Carter's replacement secretary murdered. 6 more people connected to the excavation dead from various natural causes. Doctors couldn't explain it. The counter kept climbing. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 deaths in 7 years. The odds were astronomical. The death rate among those connected to the tomb was far higher than the general population, and the world took notice. The newspapers exploded with headlines. Curse of the Pharaohs strikes again. Is no one safe from Tuts' revenge? Scientist explains. Ancient curse is real. Public panic spread like wildfire. People refused to view Egyptian artifacts in museums. Museum workers began wearing protective gear when handling anything from Tutankhamun's tomb. Believers and skeptics battled in the press. Scientists were divided. Some said it was coincidence. Others weren't so sure. And then they found the inscriptions, ancient Egyptian scrolls, curse tablets, warnings carved into tomb walls. Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the peace of the king. Images of Anubis, the god of death, Osiris, judge of the dead, weighing souls in the underworld. Ancient Egyptian priests had performed curse rituals. They had built spiritual traps into the very architecture of the tombs. The Egyptians believed in the power of words, the power of curses. They believed that speaking a curse made it real, and they had 3,000 years to perfect their magic. 22 deaths, 22 people who had entered that tomb. 22 people who had disturbed the boy king's rest. The question hung in the air, impossible to ignore. Was it magic, or was it something else? Decades later, in the 1980s, scientists decided to investigate. They entered ancient tombs wearing hazmat suits. They took air samples. They analyzed the dust. They examined everything under electron microscopes, and they found something. Theory number 1. Toxic mold. Aspergillus fungus, growing on the tomb walls. A sealed chamber for 3,000 years creates the perfect environment for dangerous mold to concentrate. When Carter broke the seal, a cloud of spores exploded outward. Everyone breathed them in. The spores attacked lung tissue, caused fever, pneumonia, respiratory failure. This explained many of the deaths, especially the sudden respiratory illnesses. Theory number 2. Ancient bacteria. Bacteria samples extracted from mummy wrappings. Bacteria that modern immune systems had never encountered. When exposed, blood infections, sudden fevers, rapid death. This explained others. Theory number 3, radiation and chemicals. Scientists measured the tomb walls. Geiger counters spiked. Uranium deposits occurred naturally in the rocks of the Valley of the Kings. Low-level radiation, but constant exposure over time. And the mummification material's chemical analysis revealed high concentrations of arsenic, mercury, and lead. Remember Arthur Mace? Arsenic poisoning? Now we know where it came from. But then, medical technology in 1922 was primitive. No antibiotics, no antidotes. A simple infection that we could cure today with a pill was a death sentence in 1922. So perhaps it was just bad luck and bad medicine. The statistics tell an interesting story. 58 people were present at the tomb opening. Only 8 died within a decade. That's a death rate of 14%. The normal death rate for that age group? 15%. Statistically, they were actually safer than the general population. And then there's Howard Carter himself. Carter handled Tutankhamun's mummy directly. More exposure than anyone. He worked in the tomb for years, breathed that air, touched those artifacts. He lived another 17 years, died of natural causes in 1939, age 64. If there was a curse, why did Carter survive? Science seemed to have the answers. The curse was explainable, logical, rational. But then, science can't explain everything. All the lights in Cairo going out, at the exact moment of Carnarvon's death. No technical fault ever found. Carnarvon's dog, dying at the exact same moment, 2,200 miles away. Both deaths at 1:55 a.m. exactly. How do you explain that? The lesion on Tutankhamun's mummy, left cheek. Carnarvon's mosquito bite, left cheek. The exact same location. Medical experts said the odds of that were astronomical, 1 in millions. Lord Westbury's suicide note. I cannot stand the curse any longer. He believed it enough to die. And these aren't rumors, these aren't myths. These details are documented, official records, newspapers, letters, witness testimonies. They're real. So, what's the answer? Curse or coincidence? Science or supernatural? The truth is, perhaps we'll never know for certain. Perhaps some mysteries are meant to stay mysteries. Perhaps some doors should never be opened. Today, Tutankhamun's treasures are displayed in museums around the world. His golden mask is one of the most famous artifacts in human history. His tomb in the Valley of the Kings stands empty now. Tourists walk through it every day. But modern archaeologists working in the area report strange occurrences, sudden illnesses that have no explanation, equipment malfunctions, radios failing, lights going out. And they report something else, something harder to quantify, a feeling, a presence, a sense of being watched in the darkness. Perhaps Tutankhamun is still there, still watching, still guarding his eternal rest. Perhaps the curse was never broken. Perhaps it's simply waiting, waiting for the next person foolish enough to disturb the boy king's sleep. Some doors should never be opened. Some secrets should stay buried. And some kings should be left to rest in peace. Ma'at Ka-Ra, Tutankhamun's throne name. So what do you think? Curse or coincidence? Science or supernatural? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more dark mysteries from history, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Because next week, I'm going to tell you a story even darker than this one. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.